Good evening, fellow Leos and Lions from across Europe and further afield. My name is Lion Stewart Sherman-Kahn, and I'm coming to you from MD 105, British Isles. It is my pleasure to welcome you to the first event of the European Young Lions Task Force. We're very excited to be sharing our concept with you this evening, and we're thrilled that you're all with us on this Thursday evening. Couple of Zoom reminders: if you can please all stay on mute unless you're speaking, that would be very good. We're very informal here. We just go by the titles Lion or Leo. We don't need anything else. We know many of you will have held many roles, but we're all Lions and Leos. We're very pleased to have our keynote speaker, Ms. Linzi Stewart, with us, who is the chair of Rural Youth Europe. And we also have our immediate past international president and chairperson of our foundation, the Lions Club's International Foundation, Gudrun, Yngvadottir, with us. As you also know, we have some Leo Lion speakers as well for you, and some of our team will be sharing some information with you also. We've split the meeting. The theme of the meeting is Europe and the Future, the World of Young People. A very broad topic, I'm sure you'll agree. But this will be the first of a series of events that we're holding over the year. We're going to have one of the team tell you a little bit about our task force. We're then going to do some scene setting. We're then going to talk about young people and Lions Clubs International. We're then going to talk about our task force and our strategy. And then we're going to have a question and answer session. So hopefully you'll all enjoy your time with us and be eager to participate in the question and answer session later. Couple of other things. Firstly, to comply with data protection and GDPR requirements, I have to advise you all nicely that this meeting is being recorded, and should you wish not to be part of that recording, then if you could please turn your cameras off. And also, we felt as a team that we should mention today the sad passing of our 89th International President, Ashok Mehta. Sad news that has hit the Lions family today, and our thoughts and our prayers are very much with his friends and his family. So welcome again. We're thrilled to have you with us, and I'm very pleased to hand over to our first speaker, one of our team, and that is Leo Frederik. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Stuart. I hope everyone can see me. I had some problems before with my camera, but I hope it's fixed. So thank you very much for giving me the microphone. I'm very honored to be here, and I'm very happy that I can start with introducing our team and the concepts that we've been working on the last few months. So what are we? We are the Young Lions Task Force Europe, and it's an initiative that follows the out of the North American Membership Initiative. That's where the idea comes from, and their Young Lions Task Force. And we had some talks before. We followed some symposia before, and what we saw is that although we are very present during these times, during these Corona times, and even before, we see that our membership is declining. So there's something wrong, and that's what we discussed, and that what was our conclusion. Right? We see that we are present, but our membership doesn't follow. Our number of membership doesn't follow. So, for example, as we see that the last year, we had a net growth of 279 young Lions between 18 and 30 years. And between the age gap from 31 to 40 years, we had only a net growth of 560 new young Lions. So we see that we have a problem in recruiting new young Lions, and crossing Leos to Lions or Leo Lion membership. So that's why that we decided to come together with 10 motivated and very passionate people from all across our constitutional area 4. We are 10 people together, and our goal is to our goal is to show that Lionism is a place where we stand together hand in hand. We have to work together, young people, a little bit older people, but still young-minded. I see some people from my group laughing because we had a discussion, who is a young person? But as long as you feel that you're young and that you really want to share the passion that we have for Lionism, that we have for Leonism, and the passion to serve, you're very welcome to follow on us on this journey. What we want to do is create a story of inclusion, not just having young people in our organization as a goal, but as an inclusive story. We have to start at the bottom, and we will have to implement recruiting young people and young-minded people from the beginning on, from the smallest club to the biggest boards up on top in, let's say, wherever it is in this world. So we really like to show or to make a bridge for young people to grow into our organization from outside lines, but also from lines to Leos. I have the opportunity to introduce to you, I just give the names who's part of our group. First of all, it's myself, Leo Frederik Dudal. I've been a Leo for 3 years now. And we have Lion Stewart Sherman-Kahn from the MD 105 British Isles. We have Lion Antti Forsell from MD 107 Finland. We have Lion Alberto Sochi from MD 108 Italy. We have my fellow Leo, Alina Ritter from MD 111 Germany. We have Lion David Drobesch from MD 114 Austria. He's one of the speakers in a few minutes. Then we have Lion Pedro Crisostomo, okay, it's a difficult name, from MD 115 Portugal. We have Lion Gemma Rodriguez Cortes from MD 116 Spain. We have Lion Zeynep Kotsasinan, sorry, Jaina for saying, from MD 118 Turkey. And of course, we have Lion Andreja Stojkovski from District 132 North Macedonia. And of course, we have you to follow us on this path towards a more young-minded and, let's say, in a way to create a organization that is ready for the future. So I'd like to pass the microphone to the next speaker, and I hope you enjoy our meeting.
Okay, thank you, Leo Frederik, for that. A nice warm welcome, and hopefully people will get to know us over the coming period as we work together and engage with you all on sharing our same goal, which is to grow lions and ensure that we have a next generation of lions to serve Europe and the world. So we're really pleased to have with us this evening to help us set the scene the President and Chairperson of Rural Youth Europe. So I'm going to warmly welcome and introduce to you Miss Linzi Stewart.
Thank you very much, and good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for inviting me to come along this evening and speak at your meeting. It really is a privilege. So first of all, my name is Linzi. I am the current chair of Rural Youth Europe, and I am from Northern Ireland. So I am a member of my home organisation, which is the Young Farmers Clubs of Ulster. And through that, I have become a member of Rural Youth Europe and joined the board way back in 2018, I think. Yeah. And then I represented my group, and then I went on to vice chair, and I currently am the chair following our first ever online General Assembly in November. So I'll just start with giving you a little bit of an overview of the work of Rural Youth Europe, and then I'll talk a little bit about what we're trying to do to keep our young people engaged with us through these unusual and different times. So Rural Youth Europe is an umbrella organisation. We have members from across Europe. We currently have 24 members in 20 different countries, and we were formed in 1957. So the idea was that we would bring young people together and to break down boundaries and to build bridges. And some of the aims that we continue to seek and would be to promote and raise awareness of rural development, of youth participation, human rights, intercultural diversity, and an environmentally sustainable lifestyle. So our vision would be that young people in rural communities should feel a part of a larger European community where human rights and equality are respected regardless of opinion, background, or beliefs. We want Rural Youth Europe to be known among European institutions as an educational organisation, and our learning outcomes to be widely recognised. So we work with non-formal education practices, and we have 3 main events each year where we bring young people together from our member organisations. So there's about 500,000 young people within our network through our member organisations, and we would have mainly 3. So the first event would be a study session, usually in the early part of the year, and usually spring or early summer, and that would be a bit more educational based, and we would focus on a particular topic such as shrinking civil spaces, and we would have, say, 2 young people usually from each member organisation, and they would look at the topic in depth that week, give their opinions, and we would feed that back up to different European institutions. We would then have our flagship event, which happens usually in July or August, and it's called the European Rally, and that is where we bring around 5 people from each of our member organisations together for the week, and we look at different topics such as world of opportunities for young people, education, employment for rural young people, mental health, sustainable practices, and food. So there are some of the topics that we have looked at in the past and that we hope to look at in the coming years as well. So we work quite closely with the UN Youth Goals as well, and that's where we would get a lot of our funding from and work along those pillars. Then we would also have our autumn seminar, which, as the name suggests, would happen in the latter part of the year. And this would be, again, with 2 members from our member organisation, so around 30 to 40 people. And these events are our main things that we would do, and they're how our young people would mainly engage with us. So, of course, when coronavirus has hit us, things have been quite different for us. And over the past year, we have diversified and tried to do a whole lot more online. But being spread out across Europe means that we have always used the tools available to us, such as Zoom and Skype, WhatsApp, different ways, Facebook, of course, social media, to keep in contact and to share different cultures and to challenge different stigmas. And we are made up, I guess, Rural Youth Europe, our board is 7 people. So myself as the chair, we have a vice chairman from Wales. We have 4 regional reps. So currently from Finland, for the Nordic countries, from Germany, from Central Europe, from Estonia for Eastern Europe, and from another girl from Wales who represents the UK and Ireland. And then we also have a special purposes member who, Siobhan, is from Ireland. She would look at different policy and work really closely with our sister organisations to make sure that the voice of rural young people are heard in different European institutions. So essentially what we want to do is bring young people together, and we want them to feel like their voice is heard, and we want to equip them through non-formal education to be an active part of their community, to speak up on issues that affect them, and to make friendships and professional relationships all across Europe and beyond. So I'll give you a bit of an overview on what we've done, what we normally do so far, and it's been really difficult the past year because a lot of everything that we've done essentially has got to go online. We haven't been able to meet at all since our last board meeting in Italy in February 2020. So since then, we have had some best sharing practice webinars where we invite some people from each of our member organisations to come along and just talk a little bit about how coronavirus and the restrictions have impacted them in their countries and how they have overcome obstacles. And it's very interesting because obviously, as I'm sure you all know, being from lots of different places, that the restrictions are different. They vary, and they vary at different times as well. So that has been a challenge, but it's also been really rewarding. And I think our young people have really been encouraged to see what other people have been going through and facing and overcoming in different countries. So that was a really, really successful event. We were due to have a training course to equip young people to be leaders and to use non-formal education in Budapest last June. Obviously, that couldn't happen, so we took that online and we prepared some sessions on how young people can use non-formal education tools in their roles. And then we also had a couple of different informal sessions where we have a regular catch up where people who have been on our events or are interested to know more about our events can just drop into Zoom and catch up with each other and ask lots of different questions about life wherever each other is. So that's been really rewarding, and actually probably one of the most one of the sessions that young people have engaged with most. And we hear that, you know, they're really keen to meet, they're really keen to discuss issues, to have their voices heard. But at the same time, they're now mostly working online and a lot of their activities are online, and they don't necessarily want to get involved in just such intense sessions as they had in the past. So we continue to work really closely with our sister organisations and with the European Youth Forum, which is the largest platform in the world for young people, just to learn from each other and to see what we're doing, what we can do better, what our young people want. We have recently, or just before Christmas, we applied for and were awarded 2 different funding projects. So one is looking at the strengthening the position of young people in the food chain, and the second is communicating with young people through Europe and feeding that up to the European Parliament. So we'll have a project called Together Thursdays, which just provides structure for us to have young people feed in on issues that affect them, and then also to receive information from the European Parliament. So those 2 projects are early days. That is something that we probably wouldn't have had the time or the resources to do in a, I would say, normal year, even though every year is always different based on different challenges. Of course, Brexit has impacted the work that we do as well. Not being part of the Erasmus Plus funded anymore has meant that some of our hosts have had to pull out of events. So there's always different challenges. But I think one thing that we have really learned is that rural young people especially are really resilient. And they adapt and overcome, and it's been so encouraging to see that. And we have just launched our Rural Youth Project for this year, which looks at celebrating and championing the work of rural young people. And I keep saying rural young people because obviously, as the name suggests, Rural Youth Europe focuses really on young people in rural areas or an interest in rural life. So you don't have to be from a rural area, you don't have to live there, but if you have an interest in rural life or you grew up in a rural area, we really want to have key people from that environment and come together to really speak up, because we know that rural young people are in the minority and an underrepresented group. And I'd say that over the last couple of years, since we've had our special interests board member on board, they came in, they're now in their 5th year, a third different mandates, but that position has been with us for 5 years. We've really found that people recognise Rural Youth Europe as an organisation that represents rural young people, and we're invited to speak at lots of different events, invited to share lots of different opportunities with rural young people, to attend events, to benefit from information and different opportunities. And it's been really encouraging to see that. So I would say, I guess, to talk a little bit about what the aim of tonight is, just to give an idea of what we are doing to try and keep young people engaged. Of course, firstly, it's a challenge. And that it is a challenge and it remains a challenge, and the pandemic has definitely made it more difficult. But we also say that there is an appetite there, and where there are challenges, there's also silver linings, and that is that actually where it was difficult for people from rural areas to come together in the past, they're now able to join online, and we have seen a really good level of participation at our events, and particularly events that really affect young people and that they really want to talk about. And so, for example, our autumn seminar last year was due to take place in Ireland with a focus on LGBTQ+. And this is a topic that in some European countries is really well talked about, and in other countries it's not talked about at all. And so we had a lot of different people coming from different backgrounds, and just interested to find out a lot more what it was like in different countries. And it was hosted by Ireland, and they had a range of different people come along and speak and share their stories, share their experience of transitioning in the workplace, of living in a rural area where there's not so much awareness and support for LGBT plus community. And we had so much feedback just that this was really interesting, it was really beneficial. A lot of people learned a lot from it, and we're really encouraged to see that we were tackling these difficult topics and providing a platform to do that. We also work really hard with mental health. We know that mental health is something that's really important, especially for rural young people who are often isolated and perhaps even more isolated now. We had a rally on this topic in the summer of 2019 in England, and we had some really interesting discussions and really great workshops where young people came forward, gave their opinions, shared their views, and really built really good connections with each other. And I think as well as we move forward, people are a bit disheartened that they haven't been able to see each other, but we try to remain hopeful that we will be together soon, and to remind people of what brings us together in the first place. So our shared passions and the network that we have. So a lot of our young people that come to our events would quite often say that it's literally one of the best weeks of their lives. And I think just attending an event like that and meeting people from all over Europe, stepping out of their comfort zone, being challenged on things that they never thought they would be challenged on, and really thinking about their position on certain topics, challenges, issues, has proved to be one of the most memorable experiences for a lot of young people. And by just remembering that, I think that's keeping us all going, so that we can do a little bit online, and we're grateful for technology and the tools that we have to do that now. But we really do look forward to the day where we can be together again, and where we can continue to challenge these topics, and to as our tagline is, it's breaking boundaries, building bridges, and we're doing that as much as we can at the minute, and we look forward to doing that in the future when we can be together again. So I hope that's a little bit helpful. If anyone has any questions, or if you'd like to find out a bit more about the work that we do or what we're doing to try and bring young people together. And of course, it's so widespread in our member organisations. Some are 4H, so they're younger members, and they're a little bit more unaffected because they're still able to meet more. Some of our members are older, in the 18 to 35 bracket when I say older, but we do have like I know that's rural young people, but we do have like a supporter network behind us as well of all ages, who would regularly be in contact and feed into the things we do as well. But it's so different and it's so hard to cater for everyone. But we are seeing such a range of responses of engagement and membership levels either dropping or increasing. One of our members has actually started up a new club, a virtual club. So these people have never actually met physically, but in their local community, they have an online club, and they're excelling. It's incredible to see what they're doing. And so we're inspired by that and just sharing that across our network. So if there is something that's interesting, or we can help out in any way, or you would like to get involved with us in any way, please do reach out to us, and we'll be more than happy to have a chat and see what we can do and how we can work together. So I hope that's been a little bit interesting. I hope I didn't speak too quickly.
Perfect, Linzi. Thank you very much. On behalf of the Young Lions Taskforce Europe team and all of our visitors today, thank you very much for your time. I think particularly interesting the LGBTQ plus and the mental health side of things. I think has a lot of resonance with our team, and I think will with Lions across Europe as well. You're going to stay with us, I believe. So there will be a formal Q&A later. So there might be some questions coming your way. And if you want to share any useful website links to Rural Youth Europe, feel free to put them in the chat. And to all those wonderful Lions and Leos with us, if you have any questions, again, please also feel free to put them in the chat. But thank you, Linzi, for your time this evening, and we'll probably hear from you a little later. So thank you. Right, so we now go on to the second part of our scene setting, and it's my pleasure to introduce another member of the Young Lions Taskforce Europe team, who is Lion David Drobesch. And he's going to be perfectly capable of introducing himself, and he's going to share his story with us. So, Lion David, over to you.
Thanks a lot, Stewart. Yeah, very warm welcome to all of you. Thanks a lot for joining us. It's quite impressive, almost 140 people in the meeting. I'll just share my story, how I joined Lions, how I became a Lion. It's perhaps quite different. I don't want to talk about topics maybe to be covered later on by Poyo or by Deborah, talking relating to Leos. I'm also not taking away any topics from Andreja, no worries. But how did I become a Lion? Well, it's maybe not really typical. It was in the year when I made first contact with Lions clubs. It was in 1990, 1991. My father, who is also joining this meeting, I think, he joined Lions back then. Well, what does it have to do with me? For all of you, there is not so many Austrians here in this meeting. Walter, International Director Walter, might also know about it. How do we do charity in Austria? In Austria, doing charity is mostly about about drinking beer. That's true. That's perfectly normal. That's perfectly easy. How do you do fundraising, organize a kind of event, and invite people, provide food, provide drinks? Everybody's happy in the end, and you earn a lot of money for doing charity. So I was pretty smaller and slimmer compared to nowadays, a small boy. Well, my father was taking me to one of those events to pick up the glasses. And it was like hundreds of people. And I thought, well, yeah, that's nice. I can collect the glasses as a 7-year-old or 8-year-old. Looks nice. That's a cool club. They organize parties. Looks good to me. Helping all day long. Well, that's not entirely what Lionism is about, but as an 8 or 9-year-old, I had this kind of nice impression. It was pretty cool. And well, then later on, of course, I had quite a lot of contacts through my family with Lions. But then when I was a bit older, I joined Lions Youth Exchange, which I can also see here on my title screen. One of the people I met through Youth Exchange later on, Andreja, for example. And I joined a couple of Youth Exchange camps, and it was truly one of the really nicest experiences of my life. I need to say, I met a lot of friends there. In the beginning, I was just joining something totally new. Later on, I was like assisting as a camper already during the camp in, for example, Tunisia. And then in the end, Youth Exchange period ended, and then it started. Well, we had in mind not only my father as a Lion, and back then as a Youth Exchange chairperson, or still nowadays, and my mother as well. She is perhaps the most active Lion who is actually not a Lions member in the world. She's really active. Many of you know her. And then we did a kind of joint operation. We organized the first Youth Exchange camp together in 2009 in Austria. I was not a Lions member back then. I actually never was a Leo member, because coming back to your presentation, Linzi, rural youth, I grew up in a rural area. The village where I grew up is about 1,800 people living there. So this is, small. There is no Leo clubs. So how would I join them as a young man? But well, there is a Lions club nearby, also nowadays. And then following up, I started joining, more or less organizing more and more Youth Exchange camps in 2010, for example, and then afterwards in 2014. Walter, International Director Walter, surely remembers. We were visiting his hometown. He is nowadays the mayor of. He invited us to a nice museum. We spent a splendid day there. And then in the end, with having lots of experience with Lions already before, like working as a non-member, as a small kid for youth, for charities, working in Youth Exchange, organizing camps, and so on. Finally, I joined Lions in 2011. Well, it looks pretty straightforward so far. But in the end, when I was talking to many of my Lions friends, both in Austria, but also all around the world, I have visited every single Lions Europe Forum since 2010, I think it was in Bologna. So every single Europe Forum I have visited a lot. I met many people there, met lots of the participants. Really great to see you all here. And what did we notice? Well, sometimes it's kind of a challenge to join as a rather young member to the Lions organization. It's not challenging because the age differences are there. There is older members, there is younger members. This happens everywhere. This doesn't only happen in Lions, this happens in every company, basically. This happens in families. This is just a matter of fact. But in the end, and I don't want to take away any of Andreja's part there, it also shows that I think there is the need to give a kind of support, to give a, maybe not advisory, to give peer support, how to integrate young, new members in an organization into grown, well-established structures. And this is, I think, what our Young Lions Task Force Europe is about. And maybe that's why I also told the story. It should show that there is different approaches of joining Lions. It could be just some people join a Lions club because they are moving to a new city, they are meeting new people, they are joining a Leo club. They then say, well, let's go for a Lions club. But there's other people too who are like totally just moving in a different way, joining from helping in a charity, joining youth exchange, organizing youth exchange, and then finally joining Lions. That's my very short story.
Okay, thank you very much, David. Thank you for sharing your story with us. Obviously, we're thrilled to have you as part of our team. And I know you'll be around later. Should anybody have any very challenging questions for you, hint, hint, everybody, feel free to ask David some questions later. Right, so we've now set the scene. We're now moving on to our next topic of conversation, which is Young People and Lions Clubs International. And it's my honour and privilege to introduce our next speaker, who all of us Lions will certainly know very well. It's our immediate past international president, Gudrun Yngvadottir. She has the honour of being the first female international president, and also I had the honour of serving as a district governor under Gudrun. So we've met on a few occasions. We're thrilled you could be with us. You're also the chairperson of our foundation, the Lions Clubs International Foundation. So Gudrun, the floor is yours, and thank you for being with us.
Thank you so very much, Stewart. And greetings to all of you, Lions and Leos. Yeah, as you heard, I'm Gudrun from Iceland and the chairperson of the foundation right now. I would like to thank you, Young Lions Task Force Europe, for inviting me to this event. This is a subject I'm extremely passionate about. And thank you all for encouraging the younger generation to be a part of Leo and Lions. Today we are discussing how we envision young people in Lions and how young people can be empowered more in their association. The fact is that young people bring youthful enthusiasm and fresh perspective to Lions. The young generation is the future of the world, and we say that the Leos are the future of Lions. Yeah, so let's talk about the future. How do we prepare our future or Lions' future? Are we just waiting for miracles? Good luck? No. We can all use good luck from time to time. However, personal and professional achievement is the result of determination and planning, hard work and tenacity. This is exactly the same for our Lions Club. Are we welcoming young people to our clubs? Do we know and respect their needs? Do we engage them in the clubs? Make them feel important so they really want to stay in the club? We want to say, yes, we do. But some of the younger members might say, no, not really. Our traditional clubs do not always fit in young people's way of living. If we really mean that young members are important for the future of Lionism, we need to change. There are more questions. Are your clubs attractive for young people and new members in general? Is there a line of young people waiting to join our clubs? In some places, yes, but not everywhere. How come that some clubs are more attractive to young people? They are modern. They are more modern, I guess. But they are modern in how they meet and communicate in their service projects and leadership. We know for sure that clubs with better gender balance are more attractive to younger members, men and women serving together. We have often analyzed the needs of our members in Lions Clubs International. All members, both men and women, young and old. We ask them why they joined Lions, what were their expectations, why they stay or leave. We have actually many answers. What was and is important to our members, including these three: to serve the community, to belong to a profound group of friends, and personal development and growth. Is this the same for all members, young and old? Yes, it is. But there is a difference between generations, how we think and act. The world has changed. We grow up and we go to school in a different world. Sometimes we talk about generation gap. Of course, we have to bridge that gap if we mean that we are welcoming younger members. I think Young Lions Taskforce is all about that, building bridges, bridging this gap. We also talk about generation balance and generation equality. When all generations are working together and making decisions together with mutual respect. This is a key to success, to make decisions with mutual respect. Successful companies ask the same questions as Lions: how they can grow, get stronger, and live longer. And they invest in younger generations to live longer. The companies ask how they can attract and welcome young people, make them feel important, involved, and engaged. What are their needs to grow? How can they make the young people stay? Exactly like we ask. What can we learn from successful companies? They say attracting young people means creating an environment where young people feel comfortable and can thrive. Young people want to make a difference. Flexibility is important to young people. The younger generations want to be connected. There's a focus on creating a positive company culture, and we could say club culture. The culture includes elements such as ethics, values, goals, and expectations. They improve their culture, their company culture, by encouraging creativity, listening to concerns and suggestions, celebrating their successes regularly, Young people have grown up in a time of incredible advancements in technology. They are used to live in a world that is constantly changing and growing. Ask for their opinions on how the company can stay up with changing times. Encourage them to seek out new tools and ideas. That will help them to grow. Encouraging personal growth is vital. Create opportunities and responsibilities that can maximize the potential. This is what Lions can learn from successful companies. Dear friends, Lions and Leos, there are new ways of thinking, innovative approaches in service and leadership. Together, we take action to make our clubs and communities better. Generations must work together. Leo Lions, and Lions, old and young. Together we are stronger as we welcome new generations of service-minded humanitarians in Europe and beyond. Thank you for recognizing the need and leading the way. Today we come together with open minds to learn from each other, honoring the past and building for the future. Service is what connects us as Lions and Leos. If the past 100 years have taught us anything, is that as we serve, we grow. LCIF, our foundation, is empowering Lions service through the most ambitious fundraising campaign in Lions history, Campaign 100. To all of you who have supported LCIF and Campaign 100, thank you for your generosity. Before I close, I would like to go back to the comfortable environment, to the club culture. As I mentioned, important elements of the company culture for young people includes ethics. Lions Code of Ethics is an incredible guidance to create a better club culture. My favorite code is to be careful with my criticism and liberal with my praise, to build up and not destroy. This tells everything about a positive club culture. To be positive and optimistic, to thank and recognize the members, to be flexible, understanding, and not too judgmental. Give the members opportunity to grow, develop the skills, then the club will grow too. That's my message. I wish you good health, much happiness. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Gudrun, and thank you. We know what a busy life you lead, so thank you so much for spending some time with us this evening, and thank you for your message, which, yes, lots of nodding heads, and yeah, we've got some work to do, but I think we can do it together, so thank you so much. So, my fellow Lions and Leos, we are on to our next speaker, and again, we're really pleased to be joined this evening by the Leo Advisory Panel Chairperson, Deborah. Deborah, the floor is yours. Good evening, and thank you for joining us.
Yeah, good evening. Thank you. Yes, I'm Debbie from Germany, actually currently living in Austria. It is so difficult actually to talk after International Past President Gudrun, but I try my best. So when I was asked to talk today about my experience as a leader and leadership within our organization, I tried to understand actually the word leader. So I looked it up in the Oxford Dictionary, which defines leader as someone who leads a group of people or an organization. But what does lead actually mean? And here the Oxford Dictionary gave me this: to go with or in front of a person to show them the right way. So no offense to the Oxford Dictionary, but I think this definition is quite useless. Who defines what the right direction is? Is that what a leader is supposed to do? To show the right direction? What if my right direction is actually the left one and my leader is showing me the right one? So when I started being a Leo almost 11 years ago, I had no clue what leadership it was. I never intended to become a leader, nor am I sure that I am today or ever will be. But the essence of my Leo and Lions journey is simple: inspiration. And this is also the answer to the future of our organization. Inspiring fellow young people or even older ones and being inspired is the key of what keeps us going. It motivates us to go the distance. With Leos, inspiration can be given in so many ways, but the simplest one is fun. Most Leos I know who have become great leaders, in my opinion, just started by having fun. May it be like a car wash activity from your local Leo club, or a random club evening with some friends and some bowling afterwards, or a service activity with kids from Special Olympics. This is what defines us as Leos and Lions, and this is how I actually explain our organization to people who have never heard about it. Nevertheless, fun can't be the only answer to motivate people to be long-lasting members in our organization. But fun makes it the beginning so much easier. If you enjoy something, you're willing to take the responsibility of working for it. And by taking the responsibility, you're naturally growing in your skills, in your leadership, and eventually in yourself. As I said, the essence of our organization is inspiration, which leads to having fun, leading to taking responsibility, and resulting in growing as a person. I see inspiration as a little fire, like a flame. And it starts really slowly and small, but it can burn long and great. But at some point, it can also extinguish it if it's not nourished enough. During my many years as a Leo, I've taken over a variety of positions, all because I've been having fun planning activities and meetings and helping people in need with great like-minded people. But I will be honest with you, there have been so many moments in my journey when my inspiration, my flame, has almost been extinguished. And I was always lucky enough that every time I was saved by someone to kindle it again. Sometimes it was just an old Leo friend who invited me to a get-together, and then it was the greetings of the many great people I was fortunate enough to meet during my Leo journey. Or it was a hug of a child during a service day which I spontaneously attended. Or it was a trust of someone who told me I should apply for a position, taking over responsibility because I'm the right person for this. And eventually it was me looking back to see what I have accomplished in these years and what person I have become, how I have grown and worked on myself just by doing what I love, by being a Leo. As Leo Advisory Panelist Chairperson, I see struggling flames all around me. And I see it as my responsibility to help them to light up again. Of course, I can't say I'm succeeding all the time. Some flames are not ought to be rekindled, and some others it is essential for them to extinguish so they can maybe light up somewhere else or later in life. But I can try to nourish the flames by showing them what fun we have together, or by encouraging them to take over new responsibilities, to challenge themselves, but also to underline in what way they are great, like what things they are great in doing it, and what value they bring to our organization. And most importantly, show them how they have grown into the great person they are today within our organization. It is so important to keep the flame alive, and not just your own, but more importantly, others. Inspiring others is our biggest job in our organization and also our biggest challenge. We tend to get so fixated on awards, achievements, and some titles of some positions in our organization that the individual inspiration is lacking. Don't get me wrong, a little bit of competition is good in life, and we are so many individual characters from all around the globe, for which it is probably impossible to get along with everyone. But this is also the chance for us to grow and appreciate the variety of people we have in our organization, which makes this international network between Leos and Lions so unique. After all, we are also role models in this world which is so messed up, with fires and floods resulting from the climate crisis, with hatred on race, gender, or sexual preferences, and with this global pandemic, which has never been seen in this extent. This world needs inspiration. It needs role models as Leos and Lions are today. It needs leaders. And though I disagree with the Oxford Dictionary that leaders show the way in the right direction, I agree that leaders show directions, not just the right one, also the left, the center, the upper, the down, the zigzag ones, all kinds of directions. By helping to keep others inspired, by nourishing their flames. So through an invitation to a service day, or a personal talk, or handing over responsibilities to them, we help to grow young people to become leaders of tomorrow who will have a significant impact in their communities and in this world. And I know that the Young Lions Task Force team in Europe has excellent Leos and Lions with a lot of experience who are ready to inspire young people and help them to grow into great leaders of tomorrow. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Leo, Debbie. Thank you for inspiring us. Please continue to do that. And I know that we're very much looking forward to working with you and your panel over the coming months. So thank you for your time this evening. That's much appreciated. So I'm now happy to welcome our next speaker, who is Leo Lion Juan Manuel Caceres Moncalvo, which is a very, very long name, but we know him as Pollo. So Pollo, the floor is yours to introduce yourself and share your wisdom with us. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'm so happy to be here with you all. And I'm so happy to have the chance to share this part of the seminar with our past international the President Gudrun and Leo Advisory Panel Debbie, because they were talking about many things that I want to talk about too, because Debbie was talking to us about the importance of inspiration that young people have to be. And we heard our past international president talking about the needs of young people, describing it in a better way than I can do it. So it's good to see how our leaders have this so clear. And the point is that our organization is really open for and promoting young people. And this is the moment that we as young are called and invited to take responsibilities. Because it's not just about complaining that Lions don't give us spaces, they treat us like kids. But now the association is giving us the opportunity to live and take high responsibilities. And this is what is happening now with the European Young Lions Task Force. There are some constitutional areas and many countries where district governors are appointing Leos and young lions in their cabinets to make sure they have young voices at the moment they have to make decisions. So now is our time to take those opportunities and take responsibilities, because the changes are able if there's people who lead the process. And this is what you are doing here with this task force. You are taking responsibility. So congratulations again for this team for starting working on this. There's something that we have to know, that being able to work together, young and senior person, it's a mutual responsibility. It's not just young people saying senior do not understand us, they don't know how the work works nowadays, or seniors thinking young people just want to have fun, they are not committed with the organization as it's needed. So all generations must be open to work together. And what does it mean to be open? Being empathetic, but for real. To do that strong and hard mental exercise of trying to understand why the other person thinks the way he or she thinks. In which world this person grew up? How was or is the job this person has? It is important for every generation to see how the way the world works make each generation behave the way they behave. For this, I always came with the example of the time machine. Do you remember? The typewriter, I mean. How difficult was to correct or rewrite if you make a mistake using a typewriter 30 years ago. But now, on your computer, if you type wrong, you just move your finger to the delete button and the problem is solved. Think about this, the difference between the feeling you feel when you expose yourself to make a mistake, when it's hard to fix or when it's really easy, how you handle it, and how you are able to move forward on. We need LCI to be exactly like our society is. And our society is diverse and multi-generational. We need to make LCI a multi-generational association. Why? What is our main goal as organization? To serve. And to do a good service, we need to understand our community's needs. And let me remind you about something. We are humans. We all are just persons. And there's something natural from our instinct, our behavior, and it is that we understand better those similar to us. We are more empathetic with people who look like us. It is okay, but we have to know it, to know that unconsciously we are more empathetic with people from our same generation. This being said, people under 20 understand better the need of people under 20. People under 50 understand better the needs of people under 50. And people under 60 will understand better the needs of people under 60. So as far as our organization at every level have members from all generations, we will be able to understand better the needs from our communities. And as a consequence, serve better our community. That's why it is so important to increase young membership in our organization and be a multi-generational institution. Thank you.
Thank you, Payo. Thank you very much for your input, and great to have you with us. I know you're hanging around with us as well, so there may be some questions for you a little later. Right, we now move on to strategy, and we couldn't think of a better person to talk about the strategy of the Young Lions Taskforce Europe than our chief strategist, Lion Andreja. Lion Andreja, it's over to you.
Now you've made me blush, Stewart. Thank
Good.
you. Thank you for the lovely introduction. My name is Andreja Stojkovski, and I have been serving the association and my community for almost 22 years in District 132 North Macedonia. First as a Leo and then as a Lion. And it was made my task tonight to speak to you about strategy. But first, let's do a bit of a wrap up for this Taskforce Thursday. Today, we were all speaking about how a group of like-minded Lions and Leos from across Europe, from the Taskforce, may become true allies of young people in Europe and make our vision a reality that Lionism is where we stand together hand in hand. You've heard all of the speakers before speaking about together, stronger, working jointly, hand in hand, repeating the sentence, the phrases. This was actually not planned, but it came out perfectly, and I'm very satisfied that we are actually sending out the same message, all of us. Working together, hand in hand, that is what Lionism is, and that is what we stand for. Before we speak about the strategy, let me share with you or bring you back to the statistical data that Frederik mentioned at the beginning. Membership in Constitutional Area 4 has been in decline for a long time. The last time that CA4 ended the year in a positive was in 2010, when the cumulative report showed a net growth of 16 Lions overall, 16. Last year, we finished with approximately 240,000 Lions in the whole of the constitutional area. And there are approximately 9,000 Leos, predominantly Omegas, in constitutional area 4, a bit over than 200 student members and 100 Leo Lions. This is relatively satisfactory. But the number of Leos crossing into Lions and the number of young people joining our clubs is insignificant. And this is where we come to what just Chairperson Yngvadottir spoke of, how to act in a way to make them stay with us. Often I repeat the words of past international president Jimmy Ross, who, speaking on retention, used to say, "I don't want to retain my wife. I want to act in a way that she would like to stay with me." And this is what we would like to do. This is where our strategy would lie, acting in a way that that young people would like to feel more comfortable in the environment that they join in. Last year, we had inducted 645 new Lions in the age group of 18 to 30 years, and 1,790 new Lions in the age group of 31 to 40 years. This is just for Constitutional Area 4. The net growth is 279 or 560 young Lions in the two age groups. If we extend that age limit to 45, it brings only the additional 300 young Lions. If we cross to leadership development, the past 3 years, only one Lion has attended one of the official LCI institutes, while there are no Leo Lions on record in attendance. So the Young Lions Taskforce Europe will focus exclusively on these unique opportunities and challenges facing the association as it relates to young people in Constitutional Area 4. Fulfilling our mission, the Young Lions Taskforce will work to create new materials and initiatives targeting young lions and Leos, events and opportunities to excite and retain younger members, such as this one, for example. Advice by reviewing materials, sharing effective ways to connect with young members, brainstorming ideas with the leadership structure of Europe, and support through promotion of membership program, providing pathways to leadership for young Lions, Leo Lions, and new Lions to bring to further growth of Constitutional Area 4. One key element in all that we would do is to always give an added value for young people to find a new place or their place in our association, or a new role or their role within our association, and to open up a new leadership pathway for them. My people say, "Zajedno smo posilni," or stronger together. So this is our strategy, standing together, stronger, hand in hand, and it has twofold meaning. For the Young Lions Task Force, first, it will learn from the experience of its members, but also from the experience of others, and will care for young people in our association throughout Europe. Back the creation of groups of young people in our association throughout Europe, and assist their networking and joint work on service projects or ideas that would benefit their further growth and involvement, as well as the growth of the association. You see, all of the whole team of the Young Lions Task Force Europe has been connected and has been working in our past Lions lives, either through youth exchange or through Leo clubs or in many different ways. And this is the experience that we would like to use and transfer to others, particularly through the networking part. The second fold, or the second side of the meaning, the Young Lions Task Force Europe will work with groups of young people outside of our association in order to bring in fresh ideas, partnerships, and people. And also, Young Lions Task Force Europe will form synergies with the existing teams, such as the Global Action Team, particularly under the Global Membership Approach, but also with the Long Range Planning Committee Europe and the Lions Task Force Europe. Most importantly, the Young Lions Task Force Europe will work with the many districts and multiple district teams, and always for the benefit of young people. Together, we will be stronger, and we will build that much needed bridge for young people to grow into our service-driven organization and guide us on the path towards a more inclusive and empowered future together. Thank you for the attention. Stewart?
Okay, thank you, Andreja, for sharing that with us. And obviously, we're all thrilled to have you as part of the team. And thank you for all your hard work. We now go on to the bit where our participants get to do some hard work. And as a team, most of us get a little bit of a rest. So I'm very pleased to hand over to Lion Alina, who has been monitoring questions and things. And Alina is going to take us through a section of questions and answers. Alina, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Stewart. So as Stewart already said, we are coming now to the more inclusive part, the question and answers. And after these amazing speeches and talks, maybe some of you have some questions or maybe some suggestions they like to make. So if there are any questions, you can just write them in the chat, or feel free to put your hand up virtual, or I don't know, via video, and then we will select you and you can just speak freely or just unmute yourself and then you're going on. So just feel free if you have any questions to any of the speeches held or to any of Okay, so there's one question in the chat. Oh, two questions. Okay. The first question is, what do we have to offer to young people? Yes, that's obviously a good question. I think you can answer that question very widely. So, yeah, does any of the speakers do like to answer this? Maybe otherwise?
Yes, I'd like to take the word, Alina. Thank you very much.
David, go on.
I see Dita, who was asking the question, what do we have to offer to young people? I mean, especially to young people who want to join the Lions organization. Is that your question? All right, good. We as the, and I'm speaking for the whole group now, I think we as the Young Lions Taskforce Europe, we consider ourselves as a very diverse group of people from the Lions organization, both Leos and Lions. We have past council chairperson, we have area leaders for GAT, we have Lions, we have Leos. We have a very big experience, and I think our main goal is to provide a kind of peer support to the various challenges joining a new organization, regardless if it's Leo or Lions, as a new, young, fresh member. Based on our experience, based on the people we know, based on what we can advise, what we can give them. We would really give peer support in a more bottom-up approach than anything else. Just share experience.
David, if I'm allowed, thanks for that reply, but you still haven't answered my question. If I tell that to a young person, we are going to give you peer support, so please join our organization because that's what we have to offer, the person will be running away before I finish my sentence. So being in a Leo and a Lion myself, that's the question I'm struggling with. What do we have to offer to young people that is tempting enough for them to join our organization? What's the added value we have? Because every time you ask that people, they either have big words with no content behind it, or they are speaking about we're one big happy family and we offer service for the community. Yeah, but service for the community, that's the basis of the organization. That's a given fact why you join. But what's the added value we can offer? What's our carrots to get them in?
Now I understand the question. Boyo, yes.
Yeah, because I'm really into this question. And of course, you said our service is the basis. And then there's something that we young people are really into, and it's about the leadership opportunity we have, and that we are a global organization. Many studies said, and this is true because of young people, that we are more into community service, things that we can really see with our own eyes. But at the same time, young people it's more concerned about the global issues and how the things that happen in one part of the world are connected with the other part. So talking to young people about that we are a global organization, that you have the opportunity to change your community, opportunity to make connection with a worldwide organization where you can see the changes that you are making and connected, because you are planting a tree in your city, but there are hundreds and millions of lions and leos planting trees. So when you count each one of the three, you feel that you are changing the world in some way. This is a very interesting connection that you can do with that, and also the opportunities to know people from all around the globe. This is something that for young people it's really valuable, just to know that. So I think a very interesting approach is that to talk about how you can change and serve in your community, but being part of a worldwide organization that you can see how you are really changing the world some way, and the leadership opportunities, of course, we have.
Again, being difficult as I am, I might as well join Scouts. They basically, the argument you just gave me, I could just join Scouts and get to know people from around the world and be in my community and think about big problems in the world. I still haven't heard the one thing that makes us, how to say this, unique from other global organizations. I see that Elizabeth has put on the chat that we offer training opportunities. Yeah, but there's one problem: nobody knows about them.
Maybe I can just hop in. I think that's a good and also difficult question. Like, to this question, there is no perfect answer, because I think everybody has to answer it also on their self. And when a young, I don't know, Leo or a young person is coming, like to join the Lions Club, maybe you have to think, would you like to hear being that person now, and what you can offer the person in that moment? Like for me, this was always the most important thing. Like when I was just catching up people from university for our club and having like hundreds sitting in front of me and talking to them what Leo is for me, I always not talk like the typical stuff like everyone is saying, like, we are doing that service project, we are offering great things, but like also the small things, like also Priyo said, we are having friends, we are having a worldwide connection. When you're coming to a city and you feel lost and you feel alone, you always have there a Leo that can help you, that can be with you. You can do things together, you can make activities. I think there's so much more, and I think this connection between Leos and Lions, and also maybe kind of the profits you take as a young person growing from maybe the person you were before and then after being a Leo or while being a Leo. I think that's the important thing you need to tell those young people. And I realize that is the thing the most people are catching up, because there are a lot of organizations doing service projects, doing nice projects, having a get together. But yes, like you're saying, what's the unique thing being a Leo? And I think it's also the worldwide perspective and that we are everywhere. So that's what I gonna say.
If I just get in this, why we are Leos or Lions is exactly because I just listened to Alina. Seriously, this is inspiration, like somebody who has a spark in her and actually like gets me excited when I just listen about her experience. And of course there are Scouts, there are other things, I don't know, there are maybe giraffes or other clubs, I don't know, but this is like what defines us. It's the memories we made and the experience we had, and if we can just like bring this spark like into this world, that's all enough. And I think then we have all the people we want who get caught by the spark.
Well, to be honest, if I wasn't a Lion and a Leo already, I would join now, because you guys are really inspirational, and I mean that. What might be a good idea is to turn it around and actually try to find out, sorry for the phrase, some normal young Leos and Lions who have just joined, who do not have any functions either in the organization, and ask them why they joined?
I think both to young people and elderly people, to everyone, isn't it most important that you feel used, that the world needs you? So I would turn it the other way around. If a young person ask me, what can Lions offer me? I would turn it around and say, we need you. We need you. We need your support to help the world. Both we have young people are conscious about the needs of the world, and I think young people want to help. And we should just say, we need your assistance to help build a better world, to save the nature, to help children out in the world who really needs us. So turn it around. We need the young people. We need you all to support the needs of the world and to be useful. I think that is important to young people, to feel used, to elderly people, to everyone. So it's not what you offer, it's not what you can offer us and the world.
Okay, thanks a lot. So we will go next. I think Lion Luc Dubois had some questions. Maybe you can unmute yourself.
Okay, my name is Luc. I have the very important question is I have never, in each of the speeches I have about retention and searching for new Leo and Lions, I have never heard the connection about the job of the Leo advisor. If I check on the website of the Lions Clubs International, there is well said that the Leo advisor has to search for Leo and Lions, and also to search for the to maintain the transition. But in the young here in the speeches, I have never heard something about the club Leo advisor, district Leo advisor, and the Leo advisor, and that's also their job to look for new Lions, Leos, etc. So I wanted to look for an answer for that. Thank you.
Excuse me, Lion Tim here in Canada. Can I speak on that one?
Yes, why not?
Sure, thank you. I'm way over on the other side of the world. It was very interesting listening to Linzi talk about rural, and I'm thinking I'm in southern Alberta where some of our kids don't even have Wi-Fi. I am the Leo advisor and the Leo chair here in southern Alberta. Our Leo club started 3 years ago, and last year we, even with the virus and we've been closed down, no schools or anything, we were able to still recruit 9 new members. I'm recruiting, our club is not an Omega club, it's an Alpha club. So we're dealing with most of our Leos, and it's growing each year, between the ages of, well, actually I've got a few that are Leo cubs, shall we say. They're even before the age of the actual Leos. Most of our average club members are aged 13 to 14. What we've done there is, we can tell them about all the opportunities in Lions and all that. We bring a Leo to each Lions meeting so they can meet and start building a bond. We do the work projects together with them, but at the same time, from a lot of our Leos that come from, and a lot of ours come from single parents, they're looking to belong somewhere, and we're trying to find a way that we can encourage them. Believe it or not, pizza and donuts are a great selling point for smaller, younger Leos. And suddenly I took some of them to a convention a couple years ago, a local convention here in the multiple district convention, and they suddenly saw the world. And that's when they started telling their friends, there's a convention, we get to go places. You also with very younger members, and now we have one that's a Leo Lion in our club, transitioning between it. We've given them some chances. We can tell them all the things. Yes, Lions, we do this and that, it's great. But younger members, they're not going to catch on to all of these things. They're going to look for something, what's in it for them too. They're still, shall we say, younger kids. They want to know what's in it. Suddenly we start telling them there's travel, there's a chance to go somewhere, there's a chance to do things. And boy, did those ones work hard, because they suddenly realize if I work hard, I get a chance to do something I couldn't do elsewhere. And what we do is, even though our new incoming president is going to be 13 years old for our Leo club. And he is trying so hard to learn things because he knows there's a chance to go and do something. And that's what you almost have to sell it to them, that it's fun, it's rewarding. We don't need to tell them you're going to become a leader, you're going to do meetings and stuff, because nobody really likes lots of Zoom meetings sometimes. After a while, it looks like watching the Muppet Show from many years ago. So you want to still make it fun, make it enjoyable for the younger Leos. Now, I know Europe is famous for Omega Leo clubs. Well, here in Southern Alberta, we are Alpha clubs. We've got some new clubs starting up here in Alberta, and we're rural areas. And I mean rural, I got to watch for the deer and the moose and all of that when I'm driving home from work every night. So the best idea as a Leo advisor here is I tell them what kind of fun things they can do, and they find work easier. If you make the work fun, our Lions Club has a campground. That's where we make our money. And I get the Leos to come out and help with the collecting of the firewood and everything and getting it ready. Now they're working on next year. They're going to decorate the campground as a winter park. We get them involved in something that they want to do and let them run the meeting and let them go with their ideas. Go crazy with it, see what they can do. Sorry, that's just kind of my thing there. And we're working with it and it's growing. So
thanks a lot for the input. So I think there are a lot of more questions also in the chat. So if there are any questions that aren't answered yet, you can always write us an email. I think one of our team members will write the address in the chat below. And I think from the beginning, one lion just put a hand up. So maybe Gaia, you can just talk, or maybe you have your question answered already. I don't know, but yes, so feel free. Otherwise, the time is running. There are a lot of questions and we like to answer and hear you all, but yes. You can write us or just write the others. And maybe if there's something that isn't answered yet, we are happy if we can answer them afterwards. Or just
okay.
Perfect.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Alina. First of all, I'd just like to thank you all for joining us this evening for our first Taskforce Thursday. The fact that we've got you thinking means that we've achieved something. These will be regular events where they will all have a different theme, and we are planning our next event for June. If you haven't liked our Facebook page, please do so, and that will post all the information about upcoming events, and that's Young Lions Taskforce Europe on Facebook. And if you want to email us, the email address is in the chat. So, and it's now on the screen because we're clever like that, or some of us are. Again, I just want to thank you all to attend. I hope you've enjoyed the event as much as we have. We've worked really hard to put this on for us, for you, and I hope it doesn't work unless you turn up. So thank you so much for that. Stay safe and well, and we look forward to welcoming you to our next event in June. Thank you very much.